if you missed class number 5, it might be hard for you to glean from the notes what I'm looking for regarding piggyback songs. So let me give you some examples. First of all, let me say that a piggyback song is a song that uses a familiar tune but with new words that teach or reinforce a concept or procedure. Here's a couple examples. Here's a procedural one. You might have heard this if you spent any time in a classroom. My hands are at my sides, I'm standing straight and tall, my mouth is very quiet, and I'm ready for the hall. So the tune there was The Farmer in the Dell, and then the teacher changed the words in order to give the kids help the kids remember what they're supposed to do when it's time to go out in the hallway. Another example that you might have heard would be one for the days of the week. Days of the week, days of the week. There's Sunday and there's Monday, there's Tuesday and there's Wednesday, there's Thursday and there's Friday, and then there's Saturday, days of the week, days of the week. In that case, I was using a familiar tune, the Addams Family theme song, and just listed the days of the week. And again, I didn't make either one of those up, but those are things that you might be familiar with if you've been in the classroom. Here's some more. Here's one for the Pythagorean theorem. The square of the hypotenuse is exactly equal to the sum of the squares of the lengths of the legs of both the other two sides. So square them and add them. Then take the square root. So, the a squared plus b squared equals c squared, all spelled out in the form of that song. And again, my tune there was the Addams Family. Here's another one. This one happens to be the names of the Midwest capitals set to the tune of Simple Gifts. Bismarck, North Dakota, and St. Paul, Minnesota, Madison, Wisconsin, and Lansing, Michigan, Pierre, South Dakota, north of Lincoln in Nebraska, Des Moines, Iowa, and Springfield, Illinois, Indianapolis, Indiana, just a few short hours from Columbus in Ohio. Head back west to Topeka in Kansas, and Jefferson City, Missouri finishes the Midwest. If you were thinking through that song as I was singing it, you probably also recognized that I started on the left-hand side of the Midwest, or in the most northwestern corner, and I worked my way to the east and then back to the west and to the east and back to the west and to the east to help a student be able to then also label those correctly on a map. So those are examples of piggyback songs. For your assignment, I'm asking that you create 2 totally original, not borrowed from somebody else's classroom, but something that you have come up with that teaches or reinforces a procedure like lining up, washing hands, getting ready to go outside for recess, or some content like the Pythagorean theorem or the days of the week. You'll want to make sure that that is for a grade level that you're hoping to teach. So if you're still wide open for what you want to teach in your future classroom, then you're wide open for this assignment. And if you've narrowed it down to middle school math, and I expect to have some songs about middle school math concepts, please also note that for the purposes of this assignment, I'm not allowing you to do a rap. I want it to be a song, and I want you to cite the familiar song and then have your lyrics rhyme and follow the basic meter of the song. So like the ABC song, the world's most famous piggyback song, is the Twinkle Twinkle Little Star song, and the rhythm has to change a little bit, but it still follows the meter of the song. So if you have any additional questions about that after having missed class today, just let me know, and we'll talk more about it in class on Thursday.